I'm 65 years old, and I need to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Most people don't lose their marriage in a dramatic explosion. There's no single fight, no obvious villain, no moment where everything suddenly breaks. Most marriages don't end loudly. They end quietly. They end while you're busy, while you're distracted, while you keep telling yourself everything is fine. That's how I lost mine. And if you're listening to this thinking, that won't happen to me, I used to think the same thing. I believed divorce happened to other people. People who didn't try hard enough. People with bigger problems than mine. I was wrong. I was married for 41 years. 41 years of shared routines, shared bills, shared history. We raised children together. We built a life that looked solid from the outside. People told us we were one of the good ones. And that might be the most dangerous compliment of all. Because when things look good on the surface, you stop paying attention to what's happening underneath. I didn't lose my marriage because I stopped loving my wife. I lost it because I stopped showing that love in ways that mattered. Somewhere along the way, I confused stability with connection. I thought showing up physically was enough. I thought paying the bills was enough. I thought being loyal was enough. I didn't realize that love isn't something you secure once and keep forever. It's something you have to maintain, quietly, daily, intentionally. By the time I was 65, the marriage didn't explode. It simply ended. One calm conversation at the kitchen table. No shouting, no accusations. Just a sentence I wasn't prepared for. I don't feel like your partner anymore. I remember sitting there, stunned, thinking she must be exaggerating. We hadn't fought. We hadn't betrayed each other. Nothing was wrong. That's when I learned the most painful lesson of my life. Nothing being wrong doesn't mean everything is right. Looking back now, the signs were everywhere. The conversations that got shorter. The silences that lasted longer. The way we stopped sharing small things. Thoughts, worries, hopes. We became efficient roommates. Polite, functional, distant. I told myself this was normal. That long marriages settle into routines. That passion fades. And that's just how life works. What I didn't understand is that emotional neglect feels exactly like peace at first. There's no drama, no conflict, just less warmth. And by the time you feel the cold, it's already deep in your bones. Here's the lie I wish someone had told me was a lie. I'll fix it later. I said that for years, when work slowed down, when stress eased, when the kids were older, when retirement came. I thought time would create space for us. But time doesn't fix disconnection. It widens it. The longer you wait to show up emotionally, the harder it becomes to return. You don't know how to start. You don't know what to say. And eventually, you convince yourself it's too late. That's the real tragedy. It usually isn't too late. Until one day, suddenly, it is. After the divorce, people asked me what went wrong. I didn't know how to answer. There was no affair, no addiction, no major betrayal. Just thousands of missed moments. Times I didn't ask how she was really doing. Times I listened just enough to respond, not enough to understand. Times I chose comfort over connection. And here's the part that hurts the most. I thought being dependable was the same as being emotionally present. It's not. You can be loyal and still absent. You can be faithful and still unavailable. You can love someone deeply and still make them feel alone. At 65, after the house was quiet and the routines were gone, I finally had time to think. Too much time. I replayed conversations, moments I brushed off, sighs I ignored, requests I minimized. She wasn't asking for grand gestures. She was asking for presence. I wish I had understood this sooner. Your partner doesn't want the best version of you someday. They want you, today. Tired, imperfect, busy, human. They want to feel chosen, not just assumed. Another lie I believed was this: if there's a problem, she'll tell me. Sometimes people stop talking because they've already tried. Silence isn't peace. It's often resignation. By the time someone stops complaining, they're usually closer to leaving than staying. After the marriage ended, I didn't just lose my wife. I lost the future I assumed was guaranteed. The shared retirement plans, the inside jokes, the quiet companionship of old age. I had prepared financially for retirement, but I had not prepared emotionally to be alone. And loneliness at 65 hits differently. It's not dramatic. It's quiet evenings, empty rooms, moments you want to share, and realize there's no one there. I don't say this to scare you. I say it because if you're listening to this and you're married, or in a long-term relationship, you still have time. But only if you stop assuming time is on your side. Ask yourself something honestly. When was the last time you asked your partner how they were doing and really listened? Not while scrolling, not while half distracted, not with the intention of fixing, just listening. When was the last time you expressed appreciation for something small? When was the last time you chose connection over convenience? Love doesn't disappear suddenly. It fades quietly when it's taken for granted. If I could go back and talk to my younger self, here's what I would say. Don't wait for a crisis to start caring deeply. Don't confuse routine with intimacy. Don't assume silence means satisfaction. Speak appreciation out loud. Ask uncomfortable questions. Be emotionally available, even when it feels awkward. And most importantly, don't postpone love. You don't get extra points for working harder, providing more, or being strong if the person beside you feels unseen. At 65, I've learned something painful but true. A long marriage doesn't fail because of one big mistake. It fails because of many small ones that feel harmless at the time. If you're still with your partner, consider this your warning and your opportunity. Put the phone down, have the conversation, say what you've been meaning to say. Not later, not someday. Now. Because one day, you may be sitting where I am, realizing that the hardest regrets aren't about what you did wrong. They're about what you didn't do when it still mattered. I lost my marriage at 65. You don't have to. If this resonated, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment. Tell me what you're going to do differently. Time doesn't wait, and love doesn't survive on autopilot.